and the Chamber of Secrets by J.K. Rowling. But Harry, who had already tarred of Slytherin House's reputation for turning out dark wizards, had laughed separately. Not Slytherin! And the hat had said, "Oh well, if you're sure, better be Gryffindor." As they were shouted along in this form, Colin Creevy went past. "Hiya, Harry!" "Hello, Colin," said Harry automatically. Harry, a boy in my class has been saying you're..." But Colin was so small he couldn't fight against the tide of people bearing him towards the great hall. They heard him squeak, "See you, Harry!" And he was gone. "What's a boy in his class saying about you?" Hermione wondered. "That I'm Slytherin's heir, expect," said Harry, in his stomach dropping around an inch or so, and he suddenly remembered the way Justin Felchley had run away from him at lunchtime. "People here believe anything," said Ron in disgust. The crowd thinned and they were able to climb the next staircase without difficulty. "Do you really think there's a Chamber of Secrets?" Ron asked Hermione. "I don't know," she said, frowning. "Dumbledore couldn't curry Mrs. Norris, and that makes me think that whatever attacked her might not be, well, human." As she spoke, they turned a corner and found themselves at the end of a very corridor where the attack had happened. They stopped and looked. The scene was just as it had been at night, except that there was no stiff cat hanging from the tall bracket, and an empty chair stood against the wall bearing the message. "The chamber has been opened." "That's where the village has been keeping guard," Ron muttered. They looked at each other. The corridor had deserted. "Can't hurt to have a poke around," said Harry, dropping his back and getting to his hands and knees so that he could crawl along, searching for clues. "Scorch marks," he said. "Here and there. Come and look at this," said Hermione. "This is funny." Harry got up and close to the window next to the message on the wall. Harry was pointing at the stone post pane, where there were around 20 spiders were squatting, apparently fighting to get through a small crack in the glass. A long, slivery thread was dangling like a rope, as though they had all climbed in their hurry to get outside. "Have you ever seen spiders act like that?" said Hermione wonderingly. "No," said Harry. "Have you, Ron?" "Ron?" He looked over his shoulder. Ron was standing well back and seemed to be fighting the impulse to run. "What's up?" said Harry. "I don't like spiders," said Ron tensely. "I never knew that," said Hermione, looking around in surprise. "You use spiders in potions lots of times." I don't mind them dead," said Ron, who was carefully looking anywhere but at the window. "I just don't like the way they move." Hermione giggled. "It's not funny," said Ron fiercely. "If you must know that I was free, Fred turned my teddy bear into a dirty great spider because I broke his toy broomstick. You wouldn't like them, is it, if you'd been holding your bear and suddenly it had too many legs and..." He broke off, shuddering. Hermione was obviously still trying not to laugh. Feeling they had better get off the subject, Harry said, "Remember all the water from the floor? Where did that come from? Someone mopped it up." "It was about here," said Ron, recovering himself to walk a few paces that filled his chair and pointing, level with this door. He reached from the brass doorknob and suddenly withdrew his hand as though he'd been burned. "What's the matter?" said Harry. "Can't go in there," said Ron so gruffly. "That's a girl's toilet." "Oh, Ron, there won't be anyone in here," said Hermione, standing up on an elbow. "That's Molly Middle's place. Come on, let's have a look." And ignoring the large out-of-order sign, she opened the door. It was the gloomiest, most depressing bathroom Harry had ever set foot in. Under a large, cracked, and spotted mirror there was a row of chipped stone stains. The floor was damp and reflected the dull light given off by the stubs of new candles, burning low in their holders. The wooden doors to the receptacles were flaking and scratched, and one of them was dangling off his hickens. Hermione put her fingers to her lips and set off towards the end receptacle. When they reached it, she said, "Hello, Myrtle, how are you?" Harry and Ron went to look. Molly Myrtle was floating on the cistern of the toilet, picking a spot on her chin. "This is a girl's bathroom," she said, eyeing Ron and Harry suspiciously. "They are not girls." "No," Hermione agreed. "I just wanted to show them how nice it is in here." She went regularly at the dirty old mirror and the damp floor. ask her if she saw anything. Harry mouthed to Hermione. What are you whispering? Said Myrtle, staring at him. Nothing, said Harry quickly. We wanted to ask. I wish people would stop talking behind my back, said Myrtle in a voice shocked with tears. I do have feelings, you know, even if I am Dad. Myrtle, no one wants to upset you, said Hermione. Harry only... No one wants to upset me. That's a good one, howled Myrtle. My life was nothing but a misery at this place, and now people come along ruining my death. We wanted to ask you if you'd seen anything funny lately, said Hermione quickly, because a cat was attacked right outside of your front door on Halloween. Did you see anyone near here that night? Said Harry. I wasn't paying attention, said Myrtle dramatically. Peeves upset me so much, I came in here and tried to kill myself. Then, of course, I remembered that I'm already dead, said Ron happily. Myrtle gave a tragic sob, rose up in the air, turned away, and dived head first into the toilet, splashing water all over them and vanishing from sight. From the direction of her muffled sobs, she had come to rest somewhere in the U-bend. Harry and Ron stood with their mouths open, but Hermione chuckled wearily at his head. Honestly, was that almost cheerful for Myrtle? Come on, let's go. Harry had barely closed the door on Myrtle's gurgling sobs when a loud voice made all three of them jump. Run! Percy Weasley had stopped dead at the head of the stairs, Prefect Beige glee, an expression of the complete shock on his face. There's a girl's bathroom, he gasped. What were you? Just having a look around, Ron struggled. Clues, you know. Percy squealed in a manner that reminded Harry falsely of Mrs. Weasley. Get away from there, he said, striding towards them and started to chivvy them along, flapping his arms. Don't you care what this looks like? To coming back there while everyone's at dinner? Why shouldn't we be there? Said Ron, stopping hardly a shot and staring at Percy. Listen, we never laid a finger on the cat. That's why I told Ginny, said Percy fiercely, but she still seemed to think you're going to be expelled. I've never seen her so upset, crying her eyes out. You might think of her. All the first years are roughly overexcited by this business. You don't care about Ginny, said Ron, whose ears were reddening now. You're just worried I'm going to mess up your chances of being head boy. 5 points from Gryffindor, Percy said cheerfully, fingering his prefect range. And I hope it teaches you a lesson. No more detective work or I will write to Mom. And he strode off, the back of his neck as red as Ron's ears. Harry, Ron and Hermione chose seats as far as possible from Percy in the common room that night. Ron was still in a very bad temper and kept blotting his chum's homework. When he reached absently for his wand to remove the munchets, it ignited the parchment. Thumping around as much as his homework clone slammed the standard book of spells grades 2 shut. To Harry's surprise, Hermione followed suit. What can it be, though? She said in a quiet voice, as though continuing a conversation they had just been having. Who would want all the quips and muggle-borns out of Hogwarts? Let's think, said Ron in muggle puzzlement. Who do we know who thinks muggles-borns are scum? He looked at Hermione. Hermione looked back, unconvinced. If you're talking about Malfoy, of course I am, said Ron. You heard him. You'd be next, mudbloods. Come on, you've only got to look at his full red face to know it's him. Malfoy, the Harry of Slytherin? Said Hermione skeptically. Look at his family, Harry said, closing his books too. The whole lot of them have been in Slytherin. He's always boasting about it. They could easily be Slytherin's descendants. His father's definitely even alive. They could have got the key to the Chamber of Secrets for centuries, said Ron. Hanging it down, father to son. Well, said Hermione cautiously, I suppose it's possible, but how do we prove it? Said Harry darkly. There might be a way, said Hermione, slowly dropping her voice still further with a quick glance across the room at Percy. Of course it would be difficult and dangerous, very dangerous. We would be breaking about 50 school rules, I'll expect. If in a month or so you feel like explaining, you will let us know, won't you? Said Ron irritably. All right, said Hermione coldly. What we need to do is to get inside the Slytherin common room and ask Malfoy a few questions without him realizing it's us. But that's impossible, Harry said as Long laughed. No, it's not, said Hermione. All we need, though, will be some Polyjuice potion. What's that? Said Ron and Harry together. Snape mentioned it to the class a few weeks ago. Do you think we got nothing better to do in potions than listen to Snape? Muttered Ron. It transform you into somebody else. Think about it. We could change it into 3 of the Slytherins. No one would know it was us. Malfoy would probably tell us anything. He's probably boasting about it in the Slytherin common room right now, if only we could hear him. This poetry stuff sounds a bit dodgy to me, said Ron firmly. What if we were stuck looking like 3 of the Slytherins forever? It was after a while, said Hermione, waving her hand impatiently. But again, I hope for the recipe will be very difficult. Snape said it was a book called Musty Potential Potions, and is bound to be in the restricted section of the library. There was only one way to get a book from the restricted section. You needed a signed note of permission from a teacher. Hard to see why we'd want the book, really, said Ron. We weren't going to try and make one of the potions. I think, said Hermione, that if we made it sound as though we were just interested in the theory, we might stand a chance. Oh, come on! No teacher is going to fall for that, said Ron. They would have to be really thick.